Hi there, let's revisit that 80s classic that'll have you heading into the danger zone to a destination unknown. But will the home media release have you flying Mach 2 with your hair on fire? Well, let's check it out. It's Top Gun on 4K. Welcome to Film Scene 21. My name's Simon and I'm here to bring you real 21st century reviews of film and great television, and the best ways I believe those can be enjoyed through home media, along with a look at some associated tech and some unboxings along the way. Now, Tom Cruise has reprised his role 36 years later, bringing us Top Gun Maverick, which I'm looking forward to reviewing, but I thought it was also important to review the original film Top Gun. Now, I'll be doing things a little bit differently from how I've done it before. A couple of shorter videos to review both the film itself and then also the home media release. I've had a look at the film, done a review for that. If you want to see that first, you can click on the card above, or there'll be a link in the description below. But today we are going to be checking out the 4K Steelbook release of the original film Top Gun, and I'll be sharing my thoughts with you on that. Right, so here it is. This is the Paramount release of Top Gun, and this is the Deluxe Steelbook edition. I'm just going to crack straight on. We can look at the box in a minute and get these things out from inside. So what we have in here is a pouch here with some goodies, which we'll go through in just a minute. But first off, this is it. This is the Steelbook. This is what you would be buying this package for mostly. And it's newly commissioned artwork, and I really like it. I think it's great. It's very evocative of the film. And I'll do a little bit more of a close-up, and you can see some really good artwork here. All the characters in the film there, and some jets and what have you. So I really did like that. I know some of you may have wished for like original poster art, perhaps something like that. And there is something in the package to cater for that. I'll show you that in a bit. But I really like it. What do you guys think? Spine is just the logo on its own. And then round to the back is similar artwork, but you know, not so much impact, I wouldn't have said. Just these planes flying across the sky. I would have perhaps liked something a little bit more evocative, should we say. And if you open it up to see if it's a wraparound design, isn't. So yeah, I'm wondering what else they could have done with that. I really like the front cover art though, that's fantastic. And if we flip round to the inside, there you can see the two discs in there. This is the 4K UHD disc in black and the Blu-ray copy in blue. Just take those out and you can see what the artwork is behind that. Again, very similar to the artwork on the back. I think you've got a jet down here and some pilot next to it and a couple of jets flying through the sky. It's very nice, but again, I probably would have preferred something with a bit more impact, possibly something from the film or similar artwork. That would have been fine. Don't know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments. Let's get these discs put back in, and then we can have a look at what's in the rest of the package. So let's put that to one side. That's the Steelbook, and here we go. This is the card pouch that contains some extra goodies. If you do a close-up on the word Top Gun, you will look very closely. You'll see some faces in amongst these letters, the characters in the film, and I think that's really nice. Nice little touch they've done there. Very subtle, but it's a nice little, you know, additional touch they've done. And just wrapping around that design goes around to the back. This thing looks like a casket or some container from the ship. You just pop that pouch open and you can pull out all the goodies from on the inside. So a number of things here to look at. Initially, let's check this out. This is what I was talking about. If you love your original poster artwork, it's the actual poster. It's a bit large to get in shot here, so I'll just scooch it up there with the best of the best. Tom Cruise, Kevin Gillis, Top Gun. There they are. And there's all the cast details at the bottom. So yeah, if you like the original poster, you've got it there. You can stick that up in a frame if you like, and you're all sorted. Right, now what else we get in here? We get this book, which is actually the dialogue continuity script for the entire film, no less. So yeah, that's pretty good. I'm really impressed by that. Sort of reminiscent, all in white, of the sort of script they would have sent around the studio. And there we go, all the scripts that you can follow along the film or recreate with your friends if you want to, you know, replicate the scenes at home. And then what we've also got here is some art cards, little wraparound band there. and they're all 4 colour art cards. The first one there, you've got Tom Cruise as Maverick, and then we've got there he is again with Kelly McGillis, lovely Kelly McGillis as Charlie, and then we have him again in the briefing room, and finally serenading the lady of the moment. All good stuff, and you can obviously frame these or have a quad up of all 4 of them, and these are good hard quality, good hard card quality, I mean. And on the back you've just got that Top Gun logo, so that's very nice little touch, so that's good to have. And finally we've got yet another booklet here. This is more of what you call a souvenir booklet. It's quite thick, it's thick enough, very nice quality card again. Maverick publicity still on the back and again on the front, and flipping through here is really nice because you get these lovely colour stills from the films, some publicity stuff, poster artwork, quotes, I feel the need for speed, lots of information about the film as well that you can read through. There's all the cast on that page there. There's a black and white of Kelly McGillis, mostly all colour in here though, and it's a lovely little booklet to accompany the film. Sort of remind yourself of certain scenes and the information about how it was made and certain things about it, bits of trivia and things, and how they dealt with the filming and casting and things like that. And it's really nice. So it's a lovely addition to the package. That very good. So it's all in all, it's a very nice package of contents. I mean, not only that, we've got the box. Yeah, it's a hard card box, which is very nice. It's got the same design as you have on the Steelbook. It literally replicates around the back. I'm not going to unwrap this because I like to keep my boxes protected. And it's got a J card wrap around here as well, which has all the details on the back. There's details about the film there, and the contents of the discs. And there's the cast and crew, details of the languages and subtitles and all that sort of thing, and the legalese at the bottom. So that's the spine. Top Gun, Ultra HD, Paramount at this end. Yeah, all in all, really nice package. I think you'd be very happy with it if you managed to get hold of it for yourself. That's something that I really like, and it's really helped me enjoy watching the film this time around on 4K, which we're now going to discuss. I'm going to tell you all about the image quality, the sound, and then what the special features are on these discs. Filming from June to December 1985, director Tony Scott along with cinematographer Jeffrey Kimball utilised 35mm film stock along with a variety of different cameras, including some that were specially adapted for those cockpit scenes. Presented on this home media release in its wireless aspect ratio 2.40:1, the film clocks in at a sprightly 110 minutes. They've also remastered it this time around in HDR10 and Dolby Vision, and that's the version I watched, and the picture quality is the best it's ever been. It's a phenomenal experience. The aerial photography really soars, along with those beautiful scenes shot around the golden hours. It's a very warm colour palette, and there's a definite uptick in detail here, which really helps, especially with those more personal scenes. Now, although this is mostly a gorgeous presentation of the film, it's not perfect. There are some sections with some very evident grain, and there's a couple of soft moments too. But I think this is down to the source material and not the way the disc has been authored, and these moments are few and far between. Certainly didn't detract from my enjoyment, but I did think it was something worth mentioning. Now let's talk about the sound. I mean, wow. The soundtrack is such a huge part of the experience of Top Gun, and here it's just phenomenal. There are multiple language options you can select from. Obviously I selected the English mix, and it's Dolby Atmos this time around, and it just sounds the best I've ever heard it. I mean, you've got the sound of the jets, obviously all the flying scenes, the bombastic music, both the the soundtrack, the score soundtrack, and also all the contemporary music tracks they've added in there too. They all sound phenomenal, and they're so crisp, so clean. The dialogue is always audible. You can hear that. It all makes for such a thrilling oral experience. You can even hear some ambient sounds when they're in sort of the control room on the ship or around the base and that sort of thing. His jets going off in the background, and it's just fantastic. They've done such a great job. I mean, really, it's a really great AV presentation overall on this disc, and it's hard to find fault with it, especially the sound. is there were loads of special features on previous releases, but thankfully they ported them all over onto this release, which is really good to see. But there's also a couple of new entries as well. We've got Legacy of Top Gun, which is like a 5.5 minute feature, lots of clips of the film and people talking about it over those clips, and that's actually in 4K on the 4K disc, which is really interesting to see. And then the other feature is called On Your 6, 30 Years of Top Gun, and it's just on half an hour, and it's wonderful feature. You get to see Tom Cruise and the producer Jerry Bruckheimer. They discuss and give us all sorts of wonderful pieces of info about how they got involved with the film, about casting, and about the future as well. And it's really interesting to find out the stipulations that Tom Cruise put in place when agreeing to do this film. For example, to be involved in every aspect of production. Now, this wasn't so that he could have his say. It was more to do with the fact of how much passion he had for filmmaking, and he wanted to learn all that he could from these amazing contributors that he was working with. And I think it's easy to see how that is instilled in him and gone on to reflect in all the films that he's produced ever since. And the other stipulation was that he had to go up in an F-14 fighter jet, mostly to inform the character, but I think it was more to do with the fact of his love of aviation that he'd had since he was a boy. And it's good to know that both of these features are accompanied by lots of different options for subtitles as well, in case you need to know that. Now, moving on to the Blu-ray, we get the audio commentary, which is also on the 4K disc as well, and that has contributions from director Tony Scott, producer Jerry Bruckheimer, screenwriter Jack Epps, and 3 Top Gun vets, Mike Galpin, Pete Pettigrew and Mike McCabe, and they all provide some great insights and some funny stories, so it's a really enjoyable listen while you're watching the film. Then we have the 2 features replicated from the 4K disc, On Your 6 and The Legacy of Top Gun. That is followed up by the Behemoth, the pièce de résistance, at nearly 2.5 hours, Danger Zone, the making of Top Gun, which is just fantastic, and it covers all aspects of the inception of the film, the production, the impact after release, and you get contributions from most of the key personnel. You know, director Tony Scott, which is really nice to see, producer Jerry Bruckheimer again, and most of the main cast, and some of the military personnel as well, who helped to bring this to our screens. And that's great because you get to hear about many stories of the production, such as, you know, organising the soundtrack, working alongside the Navy, the model work, and ensuring the aircraft carrier faces the sunset, that type of thing. But it's also great because you get to hear some of the offset stories and how people spent their downtime, which is really good to see. Some funny stuff as well, lots of detail, so it's a fascinating watch. This is followed up by a couple of multi-angle storyboards, if you're interested to see those. And then we get a 30-minute documentary called Best of the Best, Inside the Real Top Gun, and that's where we get the inside scoop of what it's really like to be a naval aviator. We get to learn about the on the ground and in the air training, and how progression leads you into being one of the Red Fighters, which means you're one of the adversary aircraft in the dogfight training, and the alternative to this is being an AIC, an airborne intercept controller, who is in the control room overseeing operations on the ground. And whilst it's, you know, the excitement and the romance of the film is fantastic, it's also really great to have this as a counterpoint as to what real life operations are actually like. Then we get 4 music videos. Now, if you like me, I love music, I love film, so I love music videos. You've got Kenny Loggins' Danger Zone, Berlin's Take My Breath Away, Loverboy's Heaven in Your Eyes, and you've got Harold Faltermeyer and Steve Stevens performing the Top Gun anthem in what looks like an underground aircraft hangar. It's all great stuff. Then we get some actual legacy features that were made at the time. So we have a behind the scenes, about 5.5 minutes, some survival training stuff, 7.5 minutes, which is really interesting to see, and I'm not sure I'd want to go through that. And then we have some interviews with Tom Cruise, about 6.5 minutes. Then there are some TV spots as well, and all of these are accompanied by lots of subtitle options. Now, along with this limited edition steelbook release that I picked up from Zavvi, HMV released their own version, very similar to this. They call it the Cine Edition. They have different artwork on it though. They swap out the steelbook for a digipack, and they swap the full colour art cards for full black and white imitation lobby cards. Retails about the same price, about £35 mark. And don't forget, there's also the standard slipcover version that you can buy. Retails about £20, although I have seen it in a 2 for £25 deal various places, including Zavvi and HMV. They all have the 2 discs and identical special features, and there will also be, when the sequel is released, there'll be a double pack opportunity, various releases for that, for the Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick in the same box, including they've recently announced a Super Fan Edition, which is this large format box with 2 newly artworked steelbooks in there and lots of other little bits and pieces, souvenirs and what have you, coasters, pictures, you know, badges, all sorts of things like that. Will retail about the £100 mark though, so we'll have to need special consideration over, depending on what your budget is. I will certainly be thinking long and hard before I get that, but whatever version I get, I'll look to bring you a review on it in somewhere in the near future. Now, how about some scores out of 10? I've reviewed the film in a previous video, and it's a great film, full of excitement, romance, brotherhood, overcoming adversity, and it's brought to us through technical excellence, fantastic cinematography, some great performances, and a classic soundtrack. And for me, that film is an 8 out of 10. Now, with regard to this release, I would give the image an 8 out of 10. The sound a 10 out of 10. It's just phenomenal. And the extra features I would score a 10, because I mean you couldn't ask for much more really. And the packaging here for me, it's a 9. So overall, film release combined, the average score for me is a 9 out of 10. If you're intrigued, check it out for yourself and let me know what you think down in the comments section below. There it is, as I said in the last video. It's been such a great film to talk about, and what a great home media release too. If you want to see any more reviews like this, do hit the subscribe button and the notify bell, that way you won't miss anything going forward. And if you did enjoy it, give it a thumbs up too and share it around with anyone you know, that way more people get to see it, which would be great. Hey, what did you think of Top Gun? And if you bought it, which version did you get? Let me know down in the comments section below and we'll talk about it. Hey, and in case you were wondering, yes, this t-shirt does have the full quote on it. Negative Ghost Road, the pattern is full. Classic line from the Tower Officer. As I mentioned before, I've got lots of other videos for you, unboxings, reviews, that type of thing. Do check those out, and I really do appreciate you coming back each time and staying around to the end. It does encourage me to make more content for you all. So thanks again for joining me on Film Scene 21. As usual, my name is Simon. Bye for now, take care, and I'll see you next time.
Goodness gracious, great balls of fire!